Always a pleasure to have one of the greatest in the history of this beautiful, fine game. We call it basketball. Dr. Naismith invented this game. Rick, are you a historian? Are you did you? Forgive me if this is a slight, if this is in any way unbecoming of a question, but was Dr. Naismith around when you were around? And
come on, jeez, I'm old.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's why I'm sorry. I don't know how old he is. I don't know when he passed. But
no. Yeah, I follow. Obviously, I love the game. And I don't follow it as closely as I used to when I was broadcasting,
right?
Because I had to. Obviously, that was my job. I still watch, try to stay up on it. There's good things about it, bad things about it, as we've discussed over the years doing this stuff with you. But I will say we may as well get off on a good start. Fortunately, I actually sent a text to Adam Silver congratulating him and whoever he worked with to come up with the decision, because they've been trying for years to find the freaking format that the players might actually get serious and play basketball.
Yeah,
and they did that. It was so nice to see them actually competing and playing basketball, playing defense. The other stuff it wasn't basketball. It was just entertainment. Like they said, they should have been calling it the NBA exhibition, on Sunday.
Yes.
Now they can do it. Hopefully, I'm praying that they're going to keep it going. Just think about this. Three of the best top foreign players didn't play, and they damn near won the thing. Almost got to the finals, which would have been a better game probably than the older guys playing, because unfortunately, which happens in sports, they just had a horseshit quarter. Let's just, call it what it is. They couldn't put the ball in the ocean.
Yes, sir.
But the other games were incredibly competitive, could have gone either way, a lot of them. But just imagine if the Joker and Doncic and Giannis had been playing for the world team. Seriously.
Well, again, I mentioned on the last show we did the ratings were fantastic. People were interested in this game. Like you said, I'm just echoing all of your sentiments that it was a surprise success story. I also have something else to add to the All-Star game, because they're thinking of doing something next year, which I had proposed just a few days ago in terms of what the NBA can do to improve the product, more specifically pertaining to the All-Star game. Well, there's a report today that they might do that, and I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
What are they talking about doing?
I'll explain in just a minute. That's
right.
As I'm sure you remember from your broadcasting days, we called it a teaser.
Yeah, I know.
I'll explain what I mean. I also would love your thoughts on what the NBA would have been like in your playing days if social media existed and one of your teammates had anonymous accounts talking shit about everybody. I just want to know how you would react to a situation like that, because this is a real life situation that is occurring. It's the madness of the NBA. We're going to have some fun. The Hall of Famer Rick Barry, again, one of the greatest ever to do it. Follow him on all social media platforms. It's one handle at Rick24Barry. And Rick, here's your new open. Let's go.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, yeah. The world can drive Rick crazy because most people can't handle the truth. Most people in general are doing crazy shit out there. And that's why I love having the Hall of Famer with me to break all that stuff down. We're powered by FanDuel. Program's called the Golden Days. It's always a privilege and an absolute pleasure to have the Hall of Famer Rick Barry join the show. And what I was teasing a moment ago, going back to the All-Star game, and side note, one more mention of FanDuel, because you could bet on the All-Star game. You can bet on pretty much anything that's available. And when it comes to the Warriors, they're back in action tomorrow, taking on the Boston Celtics at Chase Center. I still don't have a status update on whether or not Stephen Curry and or Kristaps Porzingis will be available. We do have a Seth Curry injury update, though, which I doubt is affecting the line for that game. And the line, again, courtesy of FanDuel, initially it was a Celtics -4. The line went down to Celtics -3.5, and the line has budged again with each day that passes. More and more bettors putting money down on the Warriors. They are now +3 underdog. So this line has swayed a full point. The money line is down to +118 for the Warriors. The OU 217.5. Again, this is courtesy of FanDuel, our official title sponsor of the program. If you're interested in sponsoring us locally, I just had a great meeting with a media consultant, Rick, about strategizing this program because this consultant was like, your numbers are insanely good. We got to figure out how to monetize this. And I know we're in an economic recession, but I digress. Point is, email us warriors24pod@gmail.com if you're interested in ever sponsoring the program. That email address also affiliated with our email mailbag. That segment becoming quickly popular. There are emails we'll get to tomorrow night in the post-game show. But going back to the Golden State Warriors and what I want to bring up with this All-Star game, the WNBA and the NBA are about to go into a possible strike situation. Those contract negotiations are at the 11th hour, or they're about to be. I bring that up because there's another league out there for women's players called Unrivaled, and this is a player-run league, and they have, I think, 3-on-3 games to run full court, but they also had an all-star game of their own, which inspired me to suggest this idea for the all-star game, Rick, which is a one-on-one tournament. The Unrivaled actually had that. Chelsea Gray won the tournament. It was riveting. And now the NBA today, they're announcing that for next year's All-Star game, they are in discussions to implement a one-on-one tournament. I'm glued to that if that actually happens, Rick. And your thoughts on a one-on-one tournament where the best players in the world take each other on a one-on-one basis?
Well, I was involved in something like that. Well, first of all, let me just say, when I was in college, I took great pride in that. I tried to win every game I ever played one-on-one. And we used to play one-on-one.
Yes. Yes.
And then they had something like that. I remember back when I was broadcasting for Turner, they had something that they broadcast stuff, and they had one-on-one competition. But that's many decades ago. The biggest question comes down, I can see where the women, because they're trying to get recognition and get more money and what have you. The money is so big for these guys. Would the guys really be that serious about wanting to do it? Because, like I say, so-and-so against so-and-so. Well, you don't normally have it. It's Bird against Magic. Well, Bird and Magic hardly ever guarded each other. I mean, it was, a point guard and a small forward. So it could be interesting. And then I got involved with one that Donald Trump at the time did it back at Trump Tower down in Atlantic City, or the Trump Casino. And I actually played one-on-one against George Gervin. And I was the undercard.
What year was this?
It was, this is a number of years. It was Kareem on the plane against Dr. J.
I remember that. And Kareem killed him.
Yeah, Kareem killed him. Yeah. Dr. J.
How did you do against the Iceman?
Dr. J didn't make many shots. We had we probably had the best game of everybody.
I believe it.
The only thing, I don't make excuses stuff, but I was really sick before going into that. I was sucking wind. But George and I had a hell of a battle, and of course, in that situation, the age, I'm a lot older than he was. That was a distinct advantage.
Of course.
But we had a great battle. We really had a terrific battle playing one-on-one. And I would have loved something like that because I really took pride in playing one-on-one back from my days in college. So it'll be interesting, but I don't know if the NBA players would go for it and want to get involved and would play that super hard. It'd be interesting to see what the result will be when they put it out and put it up for discussion, because the player has to want to do it. Now a younger player doing stuff probably might love to want to do that. I don't know if, especially the older guys and the kind of money that they make, if they would want to do that and put themselves up for kind of being embarrassed maybe a little bit. Somebody go out there and kick your butt in front of millions of people around the world. I mean, that'd be a heck of a decision. So what I do like, and I'd like to see a little bit more of, is I do really like what they talked about for next year. Be exciting is having Dame and Steph. He put the thing out trying to get Clay and get the really serious 3-point shooters going at one another, because that's the really one thing on Saturday that I felt was always the best thing, because it's who shoots the best.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no subjectivity. Like, I'm watching the Olympics and I'm going nuts, because this thing about judges standing there and it's subjective as to how much they want to give a guy, and dude, that's bullshit. I mean, it used to be worse years ago. I mean, oh my God, because of the nationality and the stuff, and the Russian judge wouldn't vote for the American people, and it was just ridiculous. That's why they took, the top and the bottom, threw them out. Anything that's subjective, I'm not for.
I'm with you. It's a huge reason why I lost
sport. In every sport.
Well, Rick, just to add to that, a huge reason why my interest in surfing waned a bit on the competitive side is because the results are
subjective.
decided also by human judges.
Thank you.
And it invites way too much controversy, and oftentimes the best athlete does not necessarily win
And this is
because
why AI could change that. You
Good
could
point.
put all of the parameters in as to what you have to do, what
Good
they're looking
point.
at, and the AI would be watching it because of the camera stuff, and AI would make the decision based upon how close they came to performing at the level you're supposed to perform at and doing the tricks the way you're supposed to do it. It would eliminate the human aspect of it. I am so proud of tennis for finally getting it to where the line calls don't rely on somebody's human eye doing it.
correct.
And you see how many times now in baseball, to me, it'd be the same thing. I will have to say the baseball guys are pretty amazing, but they still miss them, right? They still miss calls, but they're pretty darn good at making the calls. And you watch the replays, but they miss them. I mean, it's not 100% certain. I really think that if you can eliminate human error in judgment and stuff when it comes to sports, that you should use that technology. I don't care if it takes a little extra long time.
Rick, you might have just come up with the first good idea for AI, because until this point, I haven't been sold on any of it. I know there's goals they're reaching, like maybe medicinally, AI could help and coming up with cures
Medicine, man,
and
they're
stuff.
going to cure. They could cure some diseases and stuff. You know what? Who doesn't want it? The pharmaceutical companies. They don't want to
Anybody
cure,
with a financial agenda,
but they
yes.
don't want to cure.
Absolutely right.
They want everybody to take freaking pills and do whatever it is for the rest of their life. That's where they make all their money.
Good. That's no pushback there. And but you might have just come up with the first sound argument and proposal I've heard. If you've got investors, Rick, I'd go to them immediately for coming up with laying the foundation for an organization that runs all the officiating.
Well, I'm doing something a little bit similar to that in the business world, and doing it like for people, for real estate people, I mean, this is so amazing. This stuff is so amazing, and I love technology. But it's incredible what you can do. I mean, can you imagine? You say you're going to move to a city and you have your real estate people. You can call up. You can use this technology, and you actually have what's called a synth human. You have a person doing this for the company. They have a person. They create this person. They talk to. You can talk to. Say, okay, hey, I'm moving to Los Gatos, California, and I'm looking for a home in the $750,000 to $2 million range. What have you got for me? And they would go, and you could have a conversation, talk. They'll pull it up. They'll tell you all about it. You can ask questions. Well, what are the school systems like there? Blah, 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 blah. And have a concierge for real estate.
Yeah.
To be able to imagine how helpful that would be for someone.
I agree. And I love that we're proposing all these ideas, though. It would eliminate such few jobs, but those few people are probably looking at us right now going, "I hate you."
Yeah, but they can use their time. They can use their time in another area and spend more time with their clients, going out there and not have to be on the phone answering questions that take up their time when they're not really accomplishing much.
You're absolutely right. And I'm more specifying less the real estate agent and more someone like Julian Bashir, who's saying, with this idea, start with baseball because umpires are worthless. Yeah. If you add AI,
that's what I was saying earlier. I said earlier that they're pretty damn good, but they miss a lot. I mean, you know what they finally remember the overhead camera they used to have all the time. You used to see the strike and ball. The ball was outside the plate, and he's calling a strike. I mean, and they did that because the umps were up in arms.
Yeah,
I mean, because it was really embarrassing in them at times. And so, if you could have AI useful in sports to do that, I think you should use it.
I zero pushback here. And who won the game between you and Iceman? It sounds like Iceman did.
No, Iceman beat me in a really good, a tough competition. It was tough. I can tell. I was dying though because I was sick.
Rick, here's the thing. Going back to that one-on-one format, because I agree with you. The players, I'm guessing some of them would be hesitant to participate for the reasons you mentioned. But I also think that if they actually do agree to it, I don't think anyone's going to mail it in for the reasons you also said. Pride. Like who wants to lose in a format like that? Now, with all that said, I watched a lot of the unrivaled one-on-one games, and there was one in particular, I think it was Chelsea Gray against Paige Beckers. And Chelsea beat her handily, but I'm also not taking away from that any less respect or any. I'm not looking down on Paige Beckers because she lost a one-on-one game to someone who just plays a different position, is larger, has advantages. Like athletes are not going to be looked down on if they lose a one-on-one game. But I also hear what you're saying, that they might be a little hesitant because that's going to get competitive. And yeah.
Yeah, well, here
and I'm going to let my dog out
you
one
get
second.
my mind going because I
that.
hadn't heard about this before. But even when they had it before, I will say, why are you going to have? You don't need to have the center, right, playing against the guard. Okay, I mean that's kind of crazy because that really never happens. You're never going to necessarily see a matchup like that takes place in a real game. So have it by positions. If they're going to do it guard, point guards against point guards, two guards against two guards, threes against threes, fours against four, fives against fives, and see who the winner is in each of the positions. And that could be interesting. And from a standpoint of money and marketing, it's very simple. You do the same thing. You have it within the divisions. Get the division winners, then they go and they get the conference winners, and then you get the overall champion, just like they do with the games. Do it the same way. Just think of how many more games you can have, the sponsors you can have. It would make a lot of sense to find out who is the best one-on-one guy in the Western Conference, who's the best one-on-one guy in the Eastern Conference, who's the best one-on guy overall in each of the positions. Now, it's a matter of which guys are going to play and which aren't, because not everybody's going to want to compete. But if the money was crazy enough, maybe they would.
Mm-hmm.
But they're already making so much money. I mean, Cyrus, come on, Steph Curry, you're making $60 million. What do you need to play one-on-one for, and what are you going to prove? Okay, and the thing is, and here's the deal: Steph Curry he'd probably be unbelievable the way he can get himself open and stuff. But just because you're a great shooter, for some of the guys that are shooters, man, there's a lot more to playing one-on-one than just shooting the ball.
Agreed.
I mean, so it'd be interesting. It probably would certainly favor the guy who is the great ball handler and get himself open. It would be fun to watch. I would agree. I would be interested to watch it without question.
It would be the first time maybe in my life I'd be glued to the screen watching the All-Star game. I've never approached it with anything more than a casual interest. I would suddenly be riveted. I'd be betting on it.
Back in my day it's Cyrus, when we played, okay, it was serious basketball. I mean, you got to see the best players in the East against the best players in the West playing like it was the finals of the NBA. I mean, seriously, you would have been glued to that. I mean, because this is no bullshit. This was serious basketball. And then it fell into somewhere along the line. The players decided they were going to go screw around and just put on a show. And that's what they did. But they found something that really worked. I mean, 3 of those games were really good.
Fantastic games. Agreed.
Yeah, the last thing sucked, but that can happen. I mean, anybody can have a bad 12 minutes. And here's the thing. I just chuckle at a time. Well, the announcers, what are these guys thinking sometimes? Well, yeah, I guess the thing is that the guys lost their legs playing that many games. They had to play 3 games in a row. Hey, they only had 12-minute quarters. It was like 3 minutes. I mean, give me a break. I mean,
I heard that too.
It's not even a full game, for God's sake.
They were making excuses for the old team. I forgot which team was the older guys, but they were making excuses for them because they played 3 quarters in a row.
And Steph who didn't play, but it was come on. Yeah, there's 30. If you played every minute, which they didn't do, if you played every minute of each game, it's only 36 minutes, which hardly anybody plays more than 36 minutes a game anyway now in an NBA game.
Well, I teased a Seth Curry injury update. Forgive me for not following up on that. This came out just moments ago. Stephen Curry's brother Seth, signs late with the Warriors. His first game, I believe, was against the Thunder, and he drops 14 points, excites people. I think played one more game besides that. Then is DNP'd for a week or so, and then we never see him again because of this sciatic nerve issue, which again, until this season, I'd never seen a single athlete deal with this. And then all of a sudden, LeBron James is struggling with it. Al Horford is struggling with it. Seth Curry is struggling with it. And so the latest update from the Golden State Warriors, I'll read it verbatim. This is from their PR team, writing, quote, Golden State Warriors guard Seth Curry, who has missed the last 24 games due to a sciatic nerve-related injury, was recently reevaluated. The reevaluation indicated that Curry continues to make good progress. He will begin to intensify his on-court workouts this week, including live play, and will be reevaluated again in 2 weeks. And
they'll probably send them down. They'll probably send them down to Santa Cruz, I guess, to get a chance to play a little bit.
Maybe. The reason why I'm skeptical and why I took that deep pause there, the breath, is because the mocking sigh, because this is I don't know how many of these we've gotten now where it says he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks, and it's never in 2 weeks. They say 2 weeks, and then it turns out being more like 3 weeks, and then we get some vague, a non-specific injury report. It would surprise me if we ever saw him again, Rick, because this injury seems serious. But by the way, what are your thoughts on my idea that I'm throwing out there regarding the G League team of the Warriors currently playing in Santa Cruz? And forgive me to the folks in Surf City for repeatedly mentioning this, but I like this idea, and I'm going to throw it out there, and that's moving the Warriors G League team from Santa Cruz to Oakland and renaming it the Town. No nicknames, no nothing. Just move the team to Oakland, call them the Town. Your thoughts?
Well, it certainly would have a much broader base to draw from to come and get the chance to see the teams play because of where the people live. I mean, in Santa Cruz, you go, 100 miles, most of it's out in the ocean. I don't think you got too many fish coming to the game. So So just from a marketing standpoint and the standpoint of bringing in fans and getting fans a chance to see more of it, it'd be good. But then again, you have the schedule you have to deal with. But again, they don't have the Warriors aren't there. They're across the bay. So you've got an arena that's probably open, but you just don't want to have any conflicts. You don't want them playing the same night the Warriors are playing, obviously.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. I mean, you'd have to figure that out. Yeah. And then here's another idea real quick before I pick your brain about where the Warriors currently stand, and also maybe more importantly, or just as importantly, this ABA series. I should monitor the clock more carefully. You're on a limited schedule here, but really quickly, I have one more idea I wanted to throw by you that I think would actually help the game of the National Basketball Association as a whole, and that is, and it might sound a little crazy to you when I throw this out there, but I hope you follow along. And the proposal is this: you change the value of a typical field goal inside the 3-point line from 2 points to 3 points. You change the value of a 3-point shot from 3 points to 4 points. You keep free throws at 1. And I propose this because it would eliminate the free throw merchants of the NBA, those who hunt for free throws. It would diminish the value of the free throw a little bit. It would also diminish the value of the 3-point shot a little bit. Right now, the 3-point shot is worth time and a half what a 2-point shot is. This would reduce the value of the 3-point shot to 1.25 times, if that makes sense. The goal of this primarily is to encourage more diversity in shot making.
More mid-range game.
Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, it's a simple thing. I mean, they could talk about it, and then you just try it in the G League.
Yeah. Yeah, good call.
You test it out. It's a perfect testing ground for them. They've done that in a lot of things. Test it out and see how it works down there with what impact it has. I mean, certainly the 3-point shot has had a dramatic impact on the game.
Huge.
I mean, it's to the point now where you're not going to win a championship if you can't shoot 3-point shots. Because the statistics, I believe it's somewhere around the team that outscores the opposition from 3-point range in a game generally wins 80% of the time, I think.
I would agree. That makes sense.
I think that what I've read, I think that's where it is, that it's statistically it's some crazy number like that. And so
I mean, the Warriors are leading the NBA in 3-point attempts. They chuck over 50 a game. And again, the logic makes sense. It's just if your team's hitting 35% of those, you're probably going to win the game. And it's just it's simple math. And what I'm saying is make the math less incentivized for just being a 3-point chucker team, because that to me is just not an entertaining product. I don't know if you agree with me on that or not, but I miss the mid-range game. I miss post-ups.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. The thing is that there's still be a lot of mid-range, a lot of shooting from outside because I don't know how much it would change it. They're still going to shoot if it's 4 points, they're going to probably want to shoot that even more. I mean, seriously. I mean, because it's still an advantage over the 3-point.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But yeah, it would be interesting to see, and they can play around with it statistically, take a look at it, and analyze it from that standpoint. But the bottom line is, it's not going to go away now. They're going to shoot from the outside. I mean, you have to do it. You have to do it to win. But here's how. It's how do you defend it, which I've talked about. That I'm shocked at how teams defend it. And the other one is that how do you utilize it? To me, the best time to do 3-point shooting is in transition. If you don't, you try to go and get a dunk or a layup. If you don't, you have a distinct advantage in transition. If I'm 3 against 2, I tell my players, if you don't have a pass for the easy dunk, pull up and shoot the 3. You're running forward. The other guys are backing up. They got their back to the basket. You have a better chance of getting the offensive rebound than they do if you miss. So to me, that's the ideal time to shoot the 3-point shot.
Strongly agree.
And then the other thing is that a lot of guys they drive in and they got a chance to go and take the shot, and then this is what they used to do overseas. The Koreans and all the short teams that didn't have big guys, they would penetrate and kick out for the 3-point shot.
Right.
Oh, no, seriously, they'd hardly even take it. And so that's an issue that you have to think about as well. But my thing is defensively, like I remember United States, because my wife, being involved in USA basketball, I went to the Pan Am games, and I remember when Oscar Schmidt was playing for Brazil and one of the great 3-point shooters. I mean, I couldn't believe that whoever was coaching the team then, it wasn't, the pros always playing it. Hey, Cyrus, you're guarding Oscar, okay? Don't get any more than 6 inches away from him.
Deal.
Okay?
Yes,
you
coach.
never leave him.
Done.
Ever leave him.
Like glue.
You don't ever help on a penetration move. You stay home on Oscar. You never give him a wide open look at the basket. And yet teams will come, somebody's penetrating, especially if you got a decent sized guy who could possibly block a shot. Hey, if they score 2, they score 2. But you don't leave a wide open good shooter from 3-point range. And think about when you watch an NBA, how many wide open 3-point shots guys get. Now, it's one thing to believe somebody who sucks from the 3-point line. That's good. That's good defense, good strategy. They know who the best shooters are, the bad shooters. Hey, if you got to go and help, and you can help, and you're playing a shitty shooter, yes, go and help and stop that, and make them beat you with the bad guy shooting a 3-point shot. It's not too complicated. Basketball is not that complicated to figure out. And the other thing is that the guys who are good shooters and they're coming off, and you go under the screen. Why would you ever go underneath somebody who's the guy's trying to be a screener, for the guy, and the guys utilize him, and you as a defender go underneath and let the guy have a chance to go behind and shoot the ball if he's a good shooter? You have to go and fight over. The guy has to expose himself to give you a chance to fight over. You just never give them an opportunity. And worst case scenario, what you do is just jump it. Jump every screen. Just switch. You jump him. Switch. Get up on him. Take it away from him. Don't give him that.
And this, to me, I feel is a good transition into Kristaps Porzingis. Side note, you're from the East Coast. I'm guessing you appreciate the East Coast sense of humor. Have you seen this clip of Kristaps Porzingis, a fan? I believe it's Michael Rappaport, the actor. The reaction. This has been, I guess, every other team that Kristaps Porzingis has played on. This became a running joke immediately. Are you familiar with Tingus Pingus, sir?
Who?
Check this out.
What the fuck did they do? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is Tingus Pingus? I never heard of fucking Latvia. You drafted this fucking kid. You stupid motherfuckers, you.
All right, forgive me. I'm juvenile. Maybe that's not funny to you, but this was from 10 years ago from a Knicks fan. And again, I think it's Michael Rappaport when he was first drafted by the Knicks. And this was a reaction from a New Yorker just going, who the hell is this guy? And he called him Tingus Pingus.
Well, Rappaport has a vocabulary that belongs in the freaking sewer pipe.
I'm not defending.
I'm not a big fan of his in the way that he conducts himself. And
I hear you. And I was a little disappointed when I started to realize that was actually Michael Rappaport. I didn't know at first, but nonetheless, it's Tingus Pingus has become a running joke. It's the nickname of Kristaps Porzingis. Even he's familiar with that clip right there. I bring that up though, not to make fun of the name, but because who am I to make fun of anybody's name? I mean, Jesus Christ, Sotzes, give me a break. With that said, Bryce Lewis of Believe in Hawks was on this show the other night. We did a crossover episode, and I invited him on largely because I wanted to get his feedback on Porzingis's experience this season with the Hawks. How good of a fit he was, how he performed. And one thing stood out to me, which I think correlates directly with what you were just saying about a defensive approach to screens. And one thing Bryce told me that Kristaps Porzingis does is on defensive assignments, he does not fight over screens. He sags behind them. And I don't know if his 7'2" height allows him to get away with that, or if it's just doesn't have the athleticism to fight over and keep up with, whichever defender he has to then be assigned to. But your reaction, sir, to the Kristaps Porzingis trade and that little revelation that I learned the other day.
Well, I don't blame him. It's the coach if he's allowing him to do it. That has to
Fair.
be the coaching philosophy.
Fair.
I mean, a coach has to have his philosophy on that. Are we going to fight over? And if you're going to fight over, then a lot of the responsibility now relies on your teammate guarding the guy who's the guy that's supposed to be the screener. Because if you don't get up on him and prevent him from slipping to the basket and expose yourself to the point that you force the guy with the ball that, let's say, Porzingis is guarding, to have to veer out, which gives the guy room to step over and fight through, which takes energy and effort, then you are not going to do a good job guarding the two-man game. I think the two-man game is one of those basic plays in the game of basketball, but it's not utilized properly. Guys don't come from the right position. They don't put themselves in the right position. Their teammates that don't utilize them properly. They don't set their man up. I mean, I could do a whole clinic on this thing. Clifford Ray and I think, did it as good or better than anybody ever in the history of the game. And Clifford was awesome. He's willing to put his body up there, but he understood where to go to put it in a better position. For me, it's now my responsibility. Once Clifford comes up, becomes a stationary object. He's not a screener. He's a stationary object. It's my responsibility to set my man then up and run my man into Clifford, making him a screener. And if I don't do it properly, then it can get screwed up. But if you do it properly, it's almost impossible to defend it, that you won't get something good out of it.
Right.
So it's the coach that's on it. So if he goes under, well, he goes under. And the coach is not saying, it's okay to go under. If they're not jumping it and they're doing it and the guy's a good shooter, that's a terrible defensive philosophy as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed. Especially in today's game. I mean, and maybe 30 years ago you can get away with that. But today, I mean.
Well, but also take how many times you've seen a close game. That there's a close game and, it's really and a 3-point shot and the guy's a 3-point shooter and the guys are far enough off that he can actually get the shot off.
Right.
Hey, make him go to the basket. Get up on him. Okay, so he beats you and he starts to go to the basket, but he's only going to get 2 points, not 3.
Right. Do you like the trade in general? Like, do you like the addition of Kristaps Porzingis?
Well, I don't know where he's been traded so many different times, and he hasn't made a big difference in the places that he's gone.
Well, Celtics, they did win a title when he was with the Celtics.
Well, but that's the one. That's the one place he did go and helped him. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And he did help him when he was on his game.
He did. Yeah.
I mean, he's got size. He can shoot the ball from out deep and everything. So, but I don't know where he's going to help Atlanta win a championship. But
yeah, and again, a lot of people, myself, wondering if this was a move primarily to shed dollars as the team. Who knows what the plan is, big picture? Who knows if they're just again, a lot of this is a mystery. We're all just going to sit tight and see what they do.
There's so many variables in today's game because of the salary cap and the money that's being paid to players.
True.
And other reasons as to why teams trade people, why they do what they do, and you're restricted in a lot of ways to do it based upon whether or not the team wants to pay the luxury tax or whatever. It's just a whole different world. It's not like, hey, we'll trade for him, do that and everything. Well, there's so many other things involved that you can't necessarily do the things that you might want to do because of those restrictions that exist because of the rules that they have now.
Folks in our chat, we're doing a live show today, and we're going to shift after this to the ABA docu-series that's on Prime right now, largely because, Rick, you're the star of this thing. It's incredible. It randomly came on Prime after one of the days and nights of live basketball. Usually, if you just leave it on Prime when the game's over and the post-game show concludes, it just transitions into a show they pick for you, like an algorithm thing. And so for me, it just randomly segued into this ABA show, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is George Karl's operation that he'd finished years ago, and they finally are airing it. And you are.
They didn't finish it years ago. It was a work in progress. It was last year that they finally got it done.
Or a year ago. Okay. It was last year.
Okay. It wasn't years ago that they did it, but I think that they've done a nice job with it. And it's a story that needed to be told. I don't think people really understood what happened there.
Agreed.
And trust me, I lived it. I lived it in the beginning years. It was so crazy. It was insane. It really was. But the thing about it is that it really helped the game overall because guys who would never have gotten a chance to ever play professional basketball finally got their opportunity. In fact, I think the first year after the merger, 10 of the 24 guys or whatever were ABA guys on the All-Star team. Man, there are a lot of good players, a lot of really good players,
Agreed.
and a lot of guys that a lot of people haven't even heard about. That don't no idea how many good guys really haven't been recognized for how good a player they were when they were in the ABA, and should be in the Hall of Fame.
And I have quite a few questions about that because again, you're the star of this docuseries that right now I think is like number one on Prime Video for most watched. So congrats
Well,
on a nice little.
I'm one of the people. Dr. J and myself. Dr. J
Yeah.
obviously was critical to it. My good buddy Spencer Haywood was part of it because he got the early, get out early. But mine thing was, which they didn't make a big deal about it because, but mine, everybody talked about. You hear in baseball, you always hear about Kurt Flood. Well,
Right.
I was Kurt Flood before Kurt.
You
Flood.
were you actually
challenged changed the reserve clause, which opened the door for players to have freedom to move, and that helped to escalate the salaries, along with Dr. J and along with the ABA not having the restriction 4 years after your high school that you left, you couldn't play in the NBA. And all of that had to be put in the collective bargaining when they went to do it. And then they finally came up with now 19 years of age or whatever it may be. To be honest with you, if I'm a player, if I were a player and that stuff is going on, I would never vote for 2 years. I would say, hell no, make them stay in 4 years. Why the hell do you want all these guys coming in to take your job?
Right.
I mean, seriously, why would you as a player in the Players Association agree to letting somebody come in who's 17, 18 years old? I mean, like right now, what's his face is, playing for Dallas. He just set some records for the most points. He scored over 40 points in 2 games as an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old. Yeah, Cooper. And so, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, he should. First of all, I don't know why he ever left. He made more money if he stayed in college. I mean, why the hell did he leave in the first place? It made no sense to me. But yeah, I don't know why the players ever went for that. I mean, why? Why would you want to have more competition for your job, which is a limited number of places and jobs anyway?
There has been a lot of criticism levied toward the NBA Players Association, and I think it's warranted because of these agreements that they sign off on when they don't have to. And it's but the reserve clause that you mentioned, again, I really quickly, though, I want to get into that. But a lot of people in our chat, and I imagine folks who are not watching this live, would love to know, Rick, your thoughts on the conclusion of the Jonathan Kaminga saga. He's now with the Hawks. Mark, there was a report today that the earliest he's going to be available will be February 25th. He's still recovering from the knee bruise, but this was a wild ride, a 4.5-year ride that finally concludes. He gets traded along with Buddy Hield for Kristaps Porzingis. We haven't heard your thoughts on that yet. Your reaction?
Yeah, well, I think they needed to do it, move him. It just wasn't working because it caused. Anytime you have something where it's out of the ordinary and it's not normal, which it was. That situation was so abnormal. And in a way, I felt sorry for him because I mean, he didn't know what he was going to ever get a chance to play again. Then he gets a chance, and then he's back on the bench again. And he did not have the relationship that he needed to have with his head coach, and Steve didn't have the relationship with him that he needed to have. I don't know the whole story behind it, whether or not Kaminga refused to do the things that Steve wanted him to do. But from everything that I've read and I've heard, it's that Steve just didn't feel he was the kind of player that would be best for the type of basketball he wanted the Golden State Warriors to play. And I did say in watching him, and we've talked about it before, I thought he was way too passive. He was trying to maybe be the kind of team player, but you still can be a really great team player, but be an aggressive player. You have to be an aggressive player. You got to make the defender fear that every time you touch the ball. I mean, I know sometimes I would run down the court after the other team, we shot the ball and run back. I knew I could run back to a certain spot on the floor, and the other guy's going to run back, and that's where he's going to be every single time. He's going to be right there. And when he catches the ball, if he's open, he might shoot it, but he's not going to catch it and try to beat me and get to the basket. So you had to know who you were guarding, and if you don't play aggressively, you say, hey, this is great. I get to play Joe Blow today, and shit, he doesn't do anything out there. So and so many times I saw him catch the ball, do it. When you catch the ball, even if you just knowing that you're not going to shoot it, You want the defender to think you might drive, or you might shoot, or you might, and then maybe you get him and you can beat him and get inside and past him, which is better than making the pass on the perimeter. If you can get in the gut of the defense, that's the best piece of play you can have. And Kaminga was a good enough player. I saw that in his rookie year in summer league where he'd do that, and he played a little more aggressively, and he was kicking at the guys for easy shots and what have you. That's the way you play basketball.
Yeah.
And I thought he was way too passive in his approach to playing the game, but talented, yeah. And to his credit, he got better with his 3-point shooting. He was, well, I would have loved to have my hands on Kaminga. I offered it to him. I said, there's some
Did you
things
really?
I can. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
What did he
met
say?
him after one of the championship years. Nobody's ever taken me up on it. I
Yeah.
offered it to LeBron James as well, and he didn't take me up on it.
Well,
as
you
well.
offered it to Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about guys that play the game, the position, where I was playing. I offered it to the
So
Warriors.
not just free
beforehand.
throws. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not just free throws. I'm talking about how to play the game, how to utilize your talent in the most efficient way and make you a much more dangerous player and a much more effective player and a much more productive player. There are things that these players don't do today. They never were taught that stuff. And I felt I could have done that. It was even back when Cohan had the team and everything, and they had, what's his name, for $60 million, whoever other guy they paid all of them. I said, look, why don't you just hire me? You don't have to have me just have me be a special guy, and I'll work with him. I guarantee you I'll make him a better player if you let me work with him.
Which guy? Chris Webber? Like, who are you talking about?
No, it was one of the guys that got a lot of money. I kind of drew a blank on it. I take that stuff and I usually just throw it in the back burner.
I'm just trying to think who got big money under Cohan. It was Weber, Baron Davis.
No, it was the forward. It was a guy who played the three.
Antoine Jameson?
No. I've talked to Antoine about a lot of things, and anyway, that's a whole nother story. I should write a book.
If we figure it out, I'll tell the audience later because I'm now curious.
Well, yeah, it was a tall, skinny guy. It was he was getting paid like crazy amounts of money every year that he had, and he never really became. I'll try to look it up and come up with it. But anyway, yeah, I had offered to do that, but of course, Dave Twardzik said that he wouldn't hire me in the last. People talked about me getting a pinch to get a chance for the coach for the team and everything. And Dave Twardzik, who was a Portland Trailblazer for God's sake, comes down and you got two Portland Trailblazer guys here running the Golden State Warriors. What the hell is that? And anyway, those
were not good years. Those were not good Warriors years, sir.
Yeah,
that was not on you in any regard. I can assure you, promise you of that.
Well,
that organization was poorly run.
There's no doubt. If they had taken, if Chris had taken me up on that offer, but towards it next day,
Chris Gatling,
huh?
Chris Gatling,
no,
Chris Mullen.
No, not Chris Mullen. Chris Mullen was a hell of a player.
I'm trying to think who else we're talking about here. Anthony Randolph.
You'll get it. Yeah, one of the guys was making. You'll look it up. You'll find it.
Tom Gugliotta. All right,
I'm not Gugliotta.
Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll try to figure it out.
Tall, thin, black guy that obviously could play and had a big contract and never really became the player that he had a chance to become.
Chad, drop some names and so we can figure it out. Anyways, but I, when I'm watching this documentary on Prime, the ABA documentary, the Kaminga saga, and side note, in my opinion, again, you know way better than me, but I just felt like by the end he was in a no-win situation where I think he was just too much in his head, largely because he didn't know how to satisfy Kerr. Early in his career, he's aggressive. Later in his career, the aggressiveness wasn't there. I think because he was trying to placate what Steve Kerr was asking for, and it just ended up being a no-win situation. And did you read the part about the food, about Steve Kerr calling him in and criticizing him because his family was taking too much food from the family room?
I read something like that. That's crazy.
That was crazy.
Anyways, they do have some great food in the Warriors locker room. Oh my God.
Yes, they do.
It's amazing.
Yes, they do.
Really. I mean, after the game, you didn't have to go out and go eat somewhere. I mean, my God, the food they had there. Why the hell not let the family come in as well? I mean, they had the family room as everything, and then your players don't stay out later. They can give them some good food and let them go home and go to bed. So yeah.
A couple other names. It wasn't Donald Foyle, wasn't it? Was he?
No, not Adonal. I worked with Adonal with shooting. I remember I came in one thing and it was Musselman was the coach doing it, and they brought me in to work with Gilbert Arenas and Donald Foyle on their shooting, and I was kind of like dumbfounded that they didn't pay me anything. He asked me to come in, and so I said, yeah, okay, fine.
That was nice of you.
I really worked on Gilbert, and I thought I really got because he had some major flaws in his shooting technique, but there was nobody there filming it. Nobody there from the coaching staff paying attention to what I'm saying to try and reinforce what I was talking about after I was not there with them anymore. I mean, I said, this is like insane. But I guess they figured, well, they didn't pay anything for it, so who cares? I mean, it was nuts. It was crazy.
The only other name in the chat is Doniel Marshall, and if
That's
that
who
is
it was.
It was Doniel Marshall. Okay. There we go. That was the final player of the Chris Webber saga, because Chris Webber turned into Tom Gugliotta, who turned into, I believe, I can't remember if it was Danny Fortson next, and then Doniel, or Doniel and then Fortson, but that's how it
They were
wrapped
paying
up.
him a lot of money.
They did. Yes, they did. Yes,
Yeah.
they did. He was a very high draft pick. I think he came out of UConn. So that's fascinating. But something you said, which stuck out to me in this documentary, and you've said this on the show before, and I don't know why watching it on a TV show just suddenly just had more of a profound effect. Seeing you, and especially seeing you say it in the early 70s, like watching you in these interviews when like some of these clips are black and white. I'm like, it wasn't that old, was it? But it was black and white. And you said that in your early career with the Warriors, where you were an unbelievable talent. I believe number 2 pick in the draft, a record holder at the time for scoring as a rookie. You were an All-Star game MVP too? Is that correct? In your second year?
Second year, yeah.
You were tearing the league up. It's just destroying it. A progeny and then some. And then the ABA comes around, and then you said something. And again, you've said this on this program and your show, the Rick Barry Show, before. But if you don't mind revisiting this, you brought up the fact that it just wasn't fun playing with the coach that the Warriors had, and then your father-in-law took over the Oakland Oaks, and that turned into a great opportunity. But one thing you said, which made no sense to me, is the morning shoot-arounds. Yeah. And you use that as an example of something that wasn't fun. I've been so this is pretty much my full-time job now, is hosting this show. And part of this is doing these post-game shows after every game, and it's completely messed up my sleep cycle, because I finish these shows about 2 hours after a game, right? And then I still have adrenaline pumping. I'm turned into like a complete night owl. And I imagine that's how a lot of NBA players live too, because these games are going to like 10 o'clock at night almost. You're doing press, locker room shit afterwards. You're not getting to bed till like 3 in the morning, minimal. So who in their right mind schedules a morning shoot around? I don't get that either, Rick. But so what? But you had to take a year off because, like you said, you challenged that reserve clause, which prevented you from playing for the Oakland Oaks for a year. What did you do for that year?
I played for the KYA Radio 1. There's Johnny Holiday, who was a godfather to my son Scooter. We were still really dear friends, and he was like the top disc jockey in the country at one time for KYA. And I went around to high schools playing with them to raise money for the schools. And I would pass to Johnny. He'd take about 30 to 40 shots a game, and just to go ahead and run up and down, keep myself in a little bit of shape. And then I played in a lot of charity pro-am events in golf. And so that's
you're playing
what
golf
I did. But
okay.
Here's the thing. I look back on it and say, what the hell are you thinking? It was kind of crazy. But it had nothing to do with money. Zero. It was
just life, right? You just wanted to be happy.
No, I mean, basketball had always been fun. I loved the game. It was always fun for me. And all of a sudden, I'm first team All Pro my first 2 years playing, which doesn't happen very often that a rookie makes All Pro first team. And then I get the MVP, then of the All-Star game. I mean, I lead the league in scoring, and we come within 2 pick and roll plays with Nate Thurman and myself against Will Chamberlain, that if they go our way instead of his, we win the championship in 6 games instead of them. It still haunts me to this day.
I understand.
And I really didn't have a lot of fun. I mean, it was like, oh my God, no days off. I got to do these shoot around things. It's like, geez, oh, peace. And, now listen, I'm a sleeper. I like to get my sleep. I mean, I even begged one time to get a half an hour extra sleep. Oh, well, we can. And I love Bill as a person. Bill Sharma is a great guy, great basketball player. But we had to do it the way Bill did it. This is what Bill liked to do. And so he made us do that all the time, and rarely a day off. And so it really wasn't a whole lot of fun. And then my father-in-law comes along. He was my father, my coach in college, who helped me so much. I wouldn't have been the player I was in the pros if it wasn't for him and the style that we played. Cyrus, in college, without the three-point shot, We averaged 98 points a game in college when I was there. 98 with no 3-point shot. And I had guys like Junior G and Rick Jones and John Dampier and Wayne Beckner and all. These guys could shoot the hell out of it. If we had a 3-point shot with the distance it initially was, shit, we would have scored 110 points a game. It was crazy. And so that's why I did it. And it was a simple thing. I mean,
it makes
the documentary said it's a simple thing. Give me your best offer. I said that to Pat Boone. Give me your best offer. I'm going back to the Warriors. And if the Warriors come anywhere close to doing that, I'm going to stay because I think I owe it to the Warriors. And then everybody just crucified me. The Warriors lowballed me.
Yeah.
But then they came out later and they said, well, we offered them this much. Well, no, you didn't offer it to me first.
It was an offer that came late, and by that point,
it was similar to what the story about Kareem, how they blew it with Jabbar, Lou Alcindor at the time. Stupid George Mikan didn't go and offer the $1 million to him at the meeting that they had, and they blew the deal with him because why? Because Kareem was a man of his word. God bless him, right? This is what it is. Tell me this. He wanted the same thing I wanted. Give me the offer, and blah, blah, blah. And so he had the offer from the NBA. He had the offer there. The ABA screwed up and didn't give him the offer. It's the same with me. The ABA gave me this time it was reverse. The ABA, the Oaks actually gave me the offer, and the Warriors didn't. It wasn't very complicated.
It's very unfortunate.
I look back on it, I was stupid. I should have done what everybody else did. Okay, what's your offer? I'll go back to them. Okay, here's the deal. What's your offer? Then I go back to them and say, okay, they've offered me this. What's your offer? And then they say, okay, go back to them. Well, what's your offer? I should have played one against the other and just jacked it up.
Hindsight's 50-50. What are you going to, you learn that,
actually hindsight is 100% that you screwed up. That's what sometimes, and that was my case. I should have done exactly what everybody said. I should have just played one side against the other. No telling how much I would have been able to get, which would have really changed things even more so as far as salary and what was being offered. But anyway,
it worked out. You came back to the NBA, you won a title.
I could have had 5% ownership in the Warriors and turned it down.
Is that true? Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Well, back then it wasn't worth anything. A friend of mine wanted to buy him for $18 million.
Well, yeah, and the clip and this
Donald worth $10 billion now.
I watched that show Clip the other day, and you had a small little part in that. I don't know if you've seen that show. It's about Donald Sterling and the fiasco that brought him down as owner of the Clippers. But it was part of the show. They mentioned that he bought the Clippers for $12 million. I mean, the prices back then were absurd for owning a basketball team.
And they ran that so poorly. I mean, I went to try to see if I could interview for the coaching job with the Clippers because they were having all these issues.
Right.
So I went to Donald Sterling, and because I knew him and met him, and he said, "Well, you got to go talk to Elgin. He makes all those decisions." So that's just my boyhood hero, Elgin Baylor.
Yes.
I have great respect for it. God rest his soul. And I went to Elgin, and Elgin said, "Well, no, Rick Donald makes all of those decisions." So I got the runaround, right? I mean, I couldn't even get an interview. So it is what it is.
That's a shame. That's a shame. And that's a Sterling being Sterling, it sounds like. By the way, someone in the chat, Urquidez family, wanted to send a message to you that he thinks you should get the Greyhound logo for his biz. This was an old nickname of yours. Does this go back to your Miami days? Is that when you first picked that up?
Yeah. Well, Bill King, that was the one that said that because I came from Miami and I could run all day. I was in great shape, and I ran the hills in San Francisco and training camp. I could run. In fact, the guys, it was hysterical because we would do the 3-line drills, and Alex Hannum had a thing. You would start at 1 up and down, then you go up and down. You got to do 10 and both back and forth, and you can't miss, right? So I could run all day long, right? And so guys like Gary Phillips and Tom Micheri, the older guys, the veteran guys, they fought almost to try to not be in line to have to run that drill with me. Because what I would do is we get to like 5, 6, 7 times and making 7, I would pull up and shoot jump shots. And if I missed the shot, we'd have to start over at 1 again. And they were going nuts. It was hysterical. I just watched them. They just tried to make sure that they didn't have to run the 3-line drill with me.
and before we go, the open of the show that I made includes a clip of you shooting a free throw underhanded. That was not from a live game. That was from an interview you did with Red Auerbach. Auerbach was doing a segment.
Yeah. Red on round ball.
Round ball, exactly. And I think that ran during halftime of games.
Round ball is what it was. I did a show with him, did that with Bill Russell. It took forever to get Bill to make a hook shot, but
but that clip specifically, you had Jamal Wilkes next to
yes,
you.
I was going to say we had Keith Wilkes at the time,
Or Keith Wilkes at the time.
Yeah, it was Keith Wilkes, and Keith was on that show with me with Red on Round Ball. Yeah.
But it was funny, Red on Round Ball, and I think that ran during halftime of games, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, they had it as one of their features that they used during the course of the season, but Red was right though. He didn't want the merger. He was right. The NBA really did screw up. They wound up. I'm glad the merger happened. Obviously,
yeah,
you got a lot of places doing it, but if they had waited one more year, I don't think the league lasts. I think the league would have folded. And then they would have got all those guys without having to give up all that TV money and doing stuff. But for the sake of the game, see, everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And had that not happened, so many of the guys that had the opportunity to play, deservedly so, would not have gotten that chance. So everything seems to work out for the best in life, and say everything happens for a reason. Sometimes you can't figure it out. Sometimes it takes, it might be a day, it might be a week, might be a year, might be, whatever. But eventually something happens. Yeah, exactly. And eventually you look back in life and you realize why so many things really did happen.
Rick, I know you wrote a book in the early 70s. You are so long overdue for whether you call it a sequel, whether you call it just a memoir. You got to. There are
in the
so
process of doing a documentary on me right now. In fact, I'm going not too long ago, go up and do some more interviews, and they've been interviewing a lot of people. It's just a shame.
Good
that we didn't get it earlier, because it would have been nice to get some of the people that I knew and everything, that would have been on there. Elgin Baylor, Jerry West. I mean, all these guys that I played against, who are no longer with us, which is sad. In fact, just Doug Moe, my teammate from the Warriors, great player, just passed away just the other day. And Doug and I were teammates, and Larry Brown on the Oakland Oaks. And that's the thing you'll see when you get older. It's kind of crazy that you're blessed and you feel good that you're healthy and you're living a good long life. But it's sad, because so many times, every time you turn around, it seems like somebody is dying.
Yeah. That's what family's for, right? That's why you got the amazing wife and children, and hopefully you outlive them. That's the goal.
I feel so. I can't even imagine what it must be like for some of these poor people around the world whose children die before they die. It's just not supposed to be that way. I just can't imagine what they go through.
No, it's not. But Rick, we're always blessed to have you, sir. The ABA show is fantastic. Again, you're a huge part of it. Another thing I didn't realize watching that show, at least in the first episode, is the narrative they were trying to paint is that the NBA was just floundering, and it was which made me wonder, because, as I'm sure you know, for better or worse, like, trends oftentimes dictate what's going on in this world.
It's my wife in the background, because we were supposed to go to dinner, so I've got.
Oh no! Hi, Lynn. Oh my God! For folks who don't know, Rick has the most amazing wife on the planet. This is
not that amazing, because
you are.
Get going, because we're supposed to be at dinner at 6:50.
Get out of here! Go! Okay, we're done. Lynn, thank you for the appearance.
Yes.
For folks who don't know, you are a basketball legend too. I mean, you're a Hall of Famer.
Thank you, dear.
Bravo.
Only woman to have her jersey retired at her alma mater in any sport, and William and Mary's. So she's
always a pleasure, sir.
As I told you before, she and our son Canyon, in the history of the NCAA, the only mother and son to be first-team academic All-Americans.
And Rick, that right there is what you're talking about in terms of everything happens for a reason. You're blessed, sir. Congratulations.
If I hadn't left and gone to the ABA and stuff, that incredible lady that just popped in over here would not be a part of my life. And she's been freaking unbelievable to me. So God bless all of you. Good health to everybody. Let's see. Hopefully the Warriors can find a way to get into the playoffs, at least where they are right now. And we didn't even get to talk about a lot of stuff. It's really interesting to see the NBA, to see teams in positions that you would never expected, teams that are doing way better than they should have, which is good for the game. And so next time we'll talk more about that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rick. We'll see you tomorrow night, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.